Okay, so let's talk welfare analysis. Economists are often interested in how much society gains as a result of the existence of a market. This is important as government adds layers of regulation that sometimes reduce the amount traded, sometimes expand the amount traded, or sometimes potentially eliminate the existence of the market, at least the legal market altogether. So economists measure this in what's known as total welfare gain or total social gain. So to analyze this, what we're going to do is go back to solving for price and quantity with a supply and demand diagram. We're going to keep it generic in this video. So what you see is we have a market, a generic market. We've got supply and demand, price and quantity. And what we see is in free market circumstances, we have P star and Q star is the amount traded at a price of P star. We imposed a tax in this scenario. So a per unit tax, as you guys know from the previous videos, acts like a wall, pushing in and reducing the amount exchanged in the market. And so now we get not just one price like we get in free markets, but two prices. We get a high price that consumers pay, and we get a lower price that producers receive, and we get a reduced quantity in the marketplace. So how do we measure total gain from this? Well, what we see here is that under free market circumstances, this first column here, what we see is consumers get the price, the area between the price that they have to pay in the marketplace up to their willingness to pay. So they get the area between price and the demand function, which represents their willingness to pay or their marginal value, out to the quantity traded, which is Q star. In other words, they get A, B, C, they get all of this area. Now producers, they also get something because of the existence of the market. They get the area between the price they receive on the marketplace down to how much it costs them to produce this, so down to the supply function. They get area D, E, and F. And together, this whole area in between represents the total value to society as a result of the market. Taxpayers aren't involved in this scenario because it is free markets. We're not taxing, we're not transferring dollars from producers and consumers to taxpayers. Now that's different when we enter this other scenario. So coming back to a world where we introduce a per unit tax, we're going to be in this far column here, okay? So we push in the marketplace with this wedge, this purple wedge, and now the price consumers pay is all the way up to PD, out to their marginal value, which is represented by the demand function. Now all they get in excess is area A. Now, producers also receive a reduction in their producer surplus. They get the price suppliers receive, so their price that they get, all the way out to the quantity traded down to their supply, which represents their marginal cost to produce. This is area F. Area F represents the new producer surplus under taxation. Now, taxpayers actually get something in this scenario. They get a piece of the pie, and they didn't get a piece of the pie under a free market circumstance. So they get the area between PD and PS, which is just the per unit tax, out to the quantity traded. They get area B plus D. They get tax revenue. So tax revenue B plus D. But I want you to notice, okay, so consumers are paying this portion, area B, to taxpayers. It's like consumers have to take a slice of the pie and hand it to taxpayers. Producers also have to take a slice of the pie and hand it to taxpayers in the form of area D. But area C and E, no one gets. Now, why is this a problem? It's a problem because for all these units between QT and Q star, the marginal value is greater than the marginal cost. Meaning, under free market circumstances, we would see this being traded, and this would be a good thing because the value we get exceeds the cost to produce. So these are valuable units that are no longer being traded. In economics, we call this reduction in the size of the pie deadweight loss. And this deadweight loss, if you can see it, is like shrinking the size of the pie to society. So not only do taxpayers gain from this, but in aggregate, society gets less pie as a result of taxation. So let's do the same thing in the next video, but with subsidies.